We are alive. We are alive. And either much, you see, either much enjoyed my 28th birthday yesterday because I had ice with my wife had bought me ice cream and cake, and then I either much bought me that Hello Infamous video game because me playing the Hello Infamous video game, it has a whole bunch of story missions to it. You can either much switch guns and do types of kind of things on Hello Infamous because you have to go to every basic mission to either much destroy the order to take down bosses on every mission. I mean, dude, on the video game, I'm coming up with that Madden NFL and the NBA 2K and Call of Duty Valkyrie. Those video games, I'm gonna have to watch out of for when I get me some money. And either much, and I either much have seen it how. And I was, I was not either much supposed to be coming up here Saturday to either much do a review of do a Friday night SmackDown or a they talk about AEW Rampage. So you either much know I had to come on here and either much give y'all a to break the news because I either much looked at it. You see, to me, this is gonna surprise a lot of people that Kevin Owens had signed a multi-year contract with the WWE, and then he's gonna be sticking around because Tony Khan was not either much gonna chunk a lot of money at Kevin Owens to resign. I figure if Kevin Owens signed a contract over there with AEW, that means he's gonna get kind of lost into the shop. All that talent that he gotta go through, Adam Page, Adam Heyman Page, Brian Danielson, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston, MJF. He the much gotta go through the Lucha. I mean, either much John Moxley he gotta go through because we seen Kevin Owens end up taking him in the WWE, they go way back in 2015 when they was feuding for that Intercontinental Championship. And then Dean Ambrose either much have beated him for that belt. So we sit up here and look at it like it ain't no bad thing. How you gonna get mad at Kevin Owens though? These people on social media and Instagram and want to blast Kevin Owens and either want to say he does should have just waited until January 22 and the 31st into his contract either much run on out and then you can have him either much um just go sign the AEW. Don't you either much know every Vince McMahon has everybody contract on 90 days complete clause. If they either much decide to leave the company, WWE already know that his anybody that leaves WWE and goes sign with another promotion, that's like Bray Wyatt is still having signed with AEW because he's stepping away from wrestling. He is stepping, away for a little while. Karrion Kross has 30 days. Keith Lee, I think he has 90 days on his contract. You have Isaiah Swerve from Top Dollar and B Fab. They have 90 days on a complete clause on their contract. And then, like, people want to get angry at Kevin Owens because he resigned. Look, this man has a wife and 2 kids to either much take care of. Because coming up at day one, don't be surprised though if Kevin Owens wins that WWE Championship at day one. If WWE takes the WWE Championship off of Big E. And to me, with Kevin Owens, how WWE, you see, he has not been a WWE getting booked it as much in WWE title pictures. They have him come out and cut promos every week. When WWE gives him the monitor, they just take it away from him. And then with Kevin Owens, they just have him lose to Roman Reigns twice. They have him end up, look, Kevin Owens don't need to win the Royal Rumble because, to me, it is a figure 4-way match. That way, Seth Rollins can't take a loss. Bobby Ashley can't take another loss, but Kevin Owens can get pinned and Big E retain his WWE Championship right there going into WrestleMania in it. But he signed a 3-year contract. That means that he's gonna be there into 22. He's gonna be there in 23 and 24, and his contract don't go up in 25 because you know that by the time he get in his 40, his body is gonna end up breaking down on him. And I told y'all that look, Tony Khan is not even much gonna sign everybody to a contract. People who coming over. I'm telling you right now, unless you go to TNA Impact. Really, I don't watch TNA Impact. I don't review a show. I really don't review none of it. So they got the Iconics over there, Billy Kay and Peyton Ross over there. They getting booked it better. And then they have Braun Strowman and Reigns of Honor RH booked it better over there. So and so either much so I'm looking at this week on WWE SmackDown episode, saw the return of the WWE Universal Champ Roman Reigns, who was off the show last week, where Brock Lesnar continued to make his pressure feat where Roman must last week edition of SmackDown to bring and giving the weeks out for a family vacation. His WWE Day 1 pay-per-view opportunity. Brock Lesnar continued to make a life difficult for poor Sami Zayn even through last tested a friendship with Zayn. Lesnar delivered others attacking on Zayn after Roman special counselor Paul Heyman did a promo hype of Lesnar just like he used to. How we arranged recept to what Heyman did when found out on SmackDown. So from the All State Arena in Chicago, this SmackDown episode was 1165. Follow me on Twitter. So the show began was a recap of the Lesnar Zayn interrupted last week, where Paul Heyman fired Lesnar up with a promo that lead to Lesnar beating up Zayn. Later in the show, Heyman realized he had to answer to Roman about what Heyman did in a terms of hyping up Lesnar that bring us to this week. It was a packed house in Chicago, All State Arena, which is one of WWE's favorite vendors, VENUES vendors. The commentary team was Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. As usual, SmackDown started out with a match this week that a nice charge since it was as usual, begin with a promo. So Sasha Banks made her entrance where her tag team partner Tony Storm was already in their right, Banks and some Spider-Man in spirit gear, which it was cool, but Sasuke was up as one of the heels opportunity, and she was joined by the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, big representative for player who was disqualified in a singles match against Storm last week. Sasuke Blackheart and Tony Storm versus Charlotte Flair. Sasuke worked it over. Storm worked it over Sasuke with a side headlock takedown. Sasuke was a leg scissors, and Storm expected that hold Sasuke with a armbar. Storm broke free with a kick and began tagging in with Sasuke tagging in Flair, which lead to new chanted as player faced it off with Banks. There was an impressive head scissors takedown by Banks, then a few pains attempt in Storm tagging in with Purchase. Player was a forearm to Storm in the then player kicked the Banks off the apron to the floor. Storm did a hip toss, taking them into a pain scissors, break up the pin, and send Storm out of the ring. Banks and Storm were on the floor as the show went to a break. The match continued with Banks and Storm hitting a double team suplex on Scotty, landing to a Storm getting a 2 count. Banks and Storm Sasuke into the turnbuckle. Storm in for a punch. Banks back in a block, a kick, and Banks hit a knee to the head. Banks knocking Flair off the apron. So Sasuke punches back. Flair tagging in with a head chop on Banks, who went to the floor, and Flair wiping Banks into the barricade. Banks in the ring. Flair hit a backbreaker for a 2 count. Sasuke tagging Banks and going for a move against the roast. Banks moved. Sasuke hit the roast, and Sasuke got the tag Storm, which is a automate draw. Sasuke along with a forearm. Storm tried sending Sasuke into the roast, but Flair tagged in and hit a follow away slam that lead to Storm rolling out of the ring and to the floor. The face were out of the floor again as the show went to a commercial for the second time in this match. This match returned with Flair tried to keep Storm from tapping out, but Storm kicked Flair and Banks tag in with an arm drag across the ring. Banks continued counter a Flair slam into a crossbody block for a 2 count. That was cool. Banks hit the running knee on Flair twist for a 2 count. The exchange strikes. Banks got a roll up for a 2, and Banks did a Mysterio like counting of a movement to a bulldog. Banks went up top, Storm tag in. Flair a board moves from Banks. Sasuke with a back statement to Banks. Flair tossed it back out of the ring, and Banks Storm jump off the top with a crossbody block or a 2 count great near fall. Their player countered a Storm move by sending Tony into the turnbuckle. Flair went up top. The first move saw Mrs. Charlotte went for a um other move saw Storm got the knee up to block, and the Storm did a cool jackknife pin on Flair to get the win after 18 minutes. Yeah, it was a very good match that started out slowly. And they said one got better in the middle portion and was really hot by the end. If you watch it, did you hear how loud the pop was for Storm across body block spot for a 2 count? The fans thought that was it. It was a simple crossbody block off the top. I like how Storm won the match by countering the double movesault with the knee up low, leading to the pin. Sometimes women matches on SmackDown are too short, so I am glad that they got time. I think is a smart segment to have Storm teaming with Banks and Sasuke team with Flair because it a way to develop the new women by having them team with then more embellished stars. They could difficult lead to Storm getting a title shot against Flair since Flair was disqualified against Storm last week. And Storm and Banks celebrate with Storm looking so happy about the win. Flair was angry about the loss. And either much when I look at Charlotte Flair, because you two, you see, I know the fans, they hate Charlotte Flair, they hate her guts, they either much hate because she keep getting title shot after title shot, and they either much she is too selfish to either much put her own opponent over her in that WWE Tag Team Championship, and then she does put every woman down in that locker room and then don't give a damn about trying to help nobody. She only cares for herself. She only cares what's best for her interest. She only cares. And look, right now, I like the way how Tony Storm and Sasha Banks is teaming up together. I don't have no problem with that. Look, right now, Sasha Banks is not in the WWE title picture, but I want her to either much win the Royal Rumble. It it's supposed to be coming up on January the 29th. The 29th, 2022. So yeah, because around come 22, we gonna have a brand new title. A brand new podcast. I don't know if I'm gonna do Monday Night Raw. I don't. I'm not. I'm thinking about it, but right now I don't want to touch on it. So either way, that we will be reviewing Monday Night Raw right here on the Hard Radio Show. We'll be doing that. Then we will be. It's some more pay reviews we gotta do. We got WrestleMania to do with the review. In Dallas, Texas, I'm going to be doing a night 1 and 2 at WrestleMania, and I'm going to be doing Extreme Rules and Backlash. I'm going to be doing that. So be on lookout for that. King Woods, Xavier Woods, sitting on a recluse RIDCULOUS recluse throne with Kofi Kingston standing by a same other babyface wrestler like Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs, Mansoor were there. The Usos walked it up to make fun of how Slime Woods look it like to the New Day, saying the Usos in a match tonight. And then at day 1 for the tag team titles, the Usos agree that was it. I like the New Day and the Usos match. As anybody, I have reviewed their match many times over the years. I just think just doing that as a regular tag team match 2 weeks before that title match does feel that instance to me. Let's see them again. Difficult opportunity or set up a six-man tag. Just do something a little different. I mean, like WWE don't have no tag teams, legit tag teams over there on SmackDown. Why is the Viking Raiders is not either much getting the opportunity over there on SmackDown at the tag team titles? And then you just got them on SmackDown feuding with Mad Cup and Baron Corbin. And then this build up really just don't mean nothing in this storyline. So and fans is starting to get bored with the New Day. Back and forth they had opportunities. And then in WWE there's don't have no tag teams over there. And the Usos is just losing on SmackDown every week and them hold on to WWE SmackDown Universal Champion really don't mean a damn thing. It just really don't. The program match flop flow replay showing Xia Lee debut last week when she helped the Naomi against Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler and Natalya. And Natalya was interviewed by Megan Morant, with Natalia talked about how she and Granny's World recorded holding that has the most matches and the most pay-per-views matches of any woman in WWE history. Natalia lying about exactly saying she was protected when she was attacked. Natalia next week, Natalia say that Azalea is a nobody, where Natalia is the best of the all time. Natalia threatened Zaya if she even got in her face again. I like in a heel mode. I think she at her best. That's why bragging about the Guinness the World Recorded, making her like look like any immigrant eaglement. So it also leads to the allies waiting to see her get her ass kicked. Yeah, look, next week, look, Natalia is not beating Xia Li. I don't know why you think WWE is going to have Natalia beat Xia Li on SmackDown next week and have her take her first loss. And I want to see for the next 6 weeks, and I hope and pray that WWE don't need to much release her because you know you need help in the SmackDown women's division. I would like to see her face Sasha Banks, would like to see her face Shayna Baszler, would like to see her face uh either much Tony Storm and Charlotte, and you don't have that much women on in Sasuke Blackheart. You don't have that much women over there on SmackDown for her to either much put over. And so her booking was just really this was off in NXT, so they didn't book her right. What make you think how she's gonna get booked it well on SmackDown in these storylines? Because Ali is just an ass kicking woman and she don't fucking play around fair with anybody. So that's what's gonna happen with Natalia next week. Jinder Mahal and Siski versus the Viking Raiders, Eric and Arbar. The match started during the break with Edmund Raiders working on Mahal where Albert hit a knee to the ribs where Iker hit a knee to the head. Hall with a jump knee on Iker Sinski, tagging Webb a boot to the face, falling by a sidewalk slam. Sasuke with a back elbow to the face. Sasuke with a hit hard chop to the chest, followed by a clothesline. Mahal walked it over Erica over in the corner with a knee to the face, along with a clothesline. Mahal with a chin lock. Iker breaks free. Iron with a running crossbody block. Iron with a car wheel into the clothesline on Mahal. Erica tag in so he can slam Iron onto Mahal for a two count. Mahal with a jawbreaker on Eric Osinski tagging Iron aboard him and Iron tagging in with a splash. Iron slamming Iron onto Sinski into the turnbuckle. Iron with a belly to belly suplex over how Iron went up top with a big splash for the pinfall went after 5 minutes. Is it as a solid tag team match with a big man like Ivan showing out the athleticism like we have seen him do before? I think maybe Mahal Sinski would get the win, but I am happy with the results because the Viking Raiders need a win that was the most offense. Um, I seen from Shinsuke in a match a like of his moves were basic things that a big guy should be doing: sidewalk and slam chops, boots to the face. So at last he progress at last. To me, though, this match with the Biker Raiders, they should be getting pushed in the tag team. They should be tearing it up in this tag team because right now SmackDown don't have any other tag team. Why is they not doing a match with the Usos? Why they not feuding with them for the SmackDown tag team champions over there on SmackDown? Because I don't know why WWE is not trying to go in this direction because they is this go back and don't build, put no effort into these storyline. They don't do no long term booking like they supposed to. And on SmackDown, it's just the same thing because they don't have no other idea. The show a replay of last week's show with Drew McIntyre jammed the sword into the wind wooden desk over Adam Pierce. Happy Corbin and Mustafa and Moose stole their desk with the sword in it. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moose were showing with the wooden desk that still have the sword in it the wheel it in the backstage area. It is realistic that they would still have the wooden desk 1 week after they stole it in a difficult city. No, but I guess that could say they put it on one off the WWE truck that travels from city to city. So I guess that a way to explain it I am reaching here, I know. And so we get a segment that shows the parking lot arena with a black car arriving at the building. Paul Heyman opened the door, and it was Brock Lesnar wearing the overalls. Again, Lesnar leaked at Heyman be in there. Heyman say he was expecting somebody else. Lesnar say maybe range guard got good luck with the Lesnar plotting Heyman on the cheats. And you know what, though, with Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar, I mean Heyman turned on Roman Reigns, and then you either much thinking like it's gonna be some kind of type of fuckery coming at summer, coming up at day one, because you know the Usos gonna be getting involved into the match, and then you can have Paul Heyman probably will cost Roman Reigns his WWE Universal Champion. Look, Brock Lesnar don't need to win the WWE Championship. Probably he would just get screwed at day one, and he's gonna wind up winning the Royal Rumble and face Roman Reigns because they're gonna go back with this storyline again at WrestleMania, and then Brock Lesnar is gonna be the one that get that Universal Championship out of Roman Reigns, and then WWE will have Roman Reigns taking time out from WWE. Who's gonna be the one that beats Brock Lesnar to get that title for them? Drew McIntyre is gonna be the one that get that WWE Championship out of Brock Lesnar, because I remember that last year at WrestleMania when Kobe had hit and they had to wrestle in the WWE PC Center. Then he did not win it in front of fans. And either much, so it's going to be a type of fuckery. Then Brock Lesnar gets screwed out of his Universal Champion, and then Roman Reigns escapes with the Universal Championship. Happy Corbin and Madcap must made their entrance looking happy as usual. The Woods deaths were soared in the it was in the middle of the rain part of the set. Corbin said it was a laundry in turn that was a hat rack, and you could cut a cigar and even cut your nails with it. Moose told one of them has a bad joke making fun of Drew McIntyre with his sword. So the fans boo there was CM Punk chant, but then they won't away quickly, so WWE monitoring them, or that fans stop. Moose had two more bad jokes about Drew. Why Drew more boost from the chair? Corbin said that he wanted Moose to have the sword in honor of his uh, razor snap with Moose tried to pull the sword out of the desk, but he couldn't do it. Moose immediately he really can't get the sword out of, so Corbin tries and he failed, as well as Corbin and Moose tried together. Drew McIntyre music hits and Cole said, "Thank God, I think a lot of the allies agree with that." Drew McIntyre hit his entrance to a good pop from the crowd that was sick of the happy talk segment. Drew asked if they were having some performance issues with hit Moose with a microphone. McIntyre tagged Moss out of the ring. McIntyre with a glass broke his head, but on Corbin Drew managed to pull Angela the sword out of the desk. Moose saved Corbin from beginning attack with the sword that fans popped for Drew with the sword. This feel like a waste of time for the most part. It was pretty overall that what was coming there with Drew McIntyre interrupted the promo to kick some ass and get the sword back. The heels talk segment that began this segment went on for what a while too long. I leave with Cole said, "Thank God because it's danger on a lot. It feels the some way when knowing what was going to happen. So get to the point quickly. That's all." And we get either much a Adam Pierce and Sonya Deville were in their office. Sami Zayn walked up to them saying his lawyer said he didn't need a neck brace. They thought he meant doctors, but he said lawyers. Sammy wishes them a happy holiday, even though he don't like the criticism, except of the holiday. Zayn say that he cares about the split of the holiday scene. He liked the sprint of giving. Zayn complains about beginning Raw of the Universal title opportunity because Brock Lesnar attacked him, so he want a Universal title shot. Zayn moderate his past as a Intercontinental Champion, so Pierce cut him off. Pierce said that next week there are 12 days of Christmas, 12-man gauntlet match with the winner get any Intercontinental title match. Zayn was sure about that because he might have to beat 11 guys, but then he agreed to be a part of it. Zayn left. I mean, look, this I mean, bro, if Sami Zayn want to win that Intercontinental Championship from Shinsuke Nakamura, that means though he have to beat 11 guys in the gauntlet match, eliminate everybody, then he be the last man standing. And to me, with Sami Zayn, look, he don't need to be in no WWE title picture because right now Roman Reigns is dealing with Brock Lesnar, and you done got your ass handed to you last week twice, and then end by Roman Reigns. So Sami Zayn, if he was in a title picture, he is not going to win, and we know that. So, and matter of fact, WWE has the way how WWE look at Vince McMahon don't see no point of value in him. He do not see no. I mean, is a top star in the company. He would never reach that height to be a top WWE star into the company. Because with Sami Zayn, though, what is his stock in WWE? What is his value? What is they put him in these segments? But he can cut a very good promo. Then you have him in the ring after Brock Lesnar came out, hit him with suplex after suplex cities three times to hit him with F5 when Roman Reigns came out. He ended up finishing his ass off and hit him with a spear. And 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns retained his Universal title. Then you go in bitching to peers and say, I was robbed out of Universal Championship. And then you want to get another title shot, another crack at Roman Reigns' title, and then know you gonna get your ass beat again and you ain't gonna win. I mean, they look Roman Reigns. I mean, Sammy don't need to be in the title picture. So this a long match for next week. SmackDown on Christmas Eve. They are tapping next week. SmackDown tonight, so the roster will be out for Christmas Eve, which is good for the wrestlers. So Sheamus made his entrance with his buddy original Holland Cesaro entries the point opportunity during Cesaro interest. Pat McAfee said that Shane tossed Cesaro out like Shadow Khan tossed Earl Myers out of Jacksonville. Holly hit Cesaro in the ribs with belly club. The referee cracked it on Cesaro out of the ring because the match didn't begin yet. And then Shadow Khan line is interesting because he is the father of Tony Khan and also finalist back of AEW All Elite Wrestling. The Khan family owns the NFL. Jacksonville Jaguars and fired head coach Myers early in the week. I am sure McAfee saying the line will get instant wrestlers. Fans talk that it's not a big deal, but people will think it is. Yeah, because they have fire because if Jacksonville gets somebody like Kelly Moore and Brian Leftwich and everybody else, and they are going to bring in more young players on that team because they are going to bring in more young players on that team to build, to put a good wide receiver core around Travis Lawrence. And they already got two good running backs on that team, but they're going to build offensive line because Jacksonville is going to be competing for that ALC South team, for that ALC championship. They face Texans twice a year. They the much face the Colts twice a year in the Tennessee twice and go up against other NFC North teams. And then if they get Brian Leftwich, he played in, he was the quarterback in Tampa Bay. He is going to turn that franchise around and turn them into a playoff team. Because look, I'm not a Jaguars fan. I don't like the Jaguars, and you know I don't. Because if Urban Myers was the head coach of that franchise, the way how he was talking to people, the way how he was mistreating people, and the players outside the locker room, inside the building with the cameras, the promotions, the promoters, the training staffs, outside the building, and then the players did not like Urban Myers because you know Shadow Khan somebody had to dial his speed form and either much had to tell him get up off your ass and either much fire or Urban Myers, and then when he did that, they got his ass up out of there because you know they're gonna be interview. You know who I like for them not to interview? Airbnb. He's the hottest thing right now in Kansas City. He is because they're gonna interview Brian Leftwich. I'm sure they're gonna interview Taj Boers and Kellen Moore. They're gonna interview them. And as of right now, we the much got this head coach David Cutler who we really stuck with. Look, this man don't know what he's doing. He can't coach. He's sorry, he trashy with the play caller. And the coaching staff don't either much know what the hell he's doing. People on the coaching staff don't know what the hell he's doing, and don't want to remove Tim Kelly from play calling, and he's gonna continue to have Tim Kelly to call plays. And number one, if they beat Jacksonville, you still gonna be picking at number three. Jacksonville is gonna be picking in front of you. So it don't matter if the Texans lose this game or win it because they don't have no lot of playmakers on the wide receiving core or tight end. They don't have no studs who's a ball catcher, a ball hog out there on the field, and they secondary who can get to the quarterback and get turnovers and cause fumbles. But look, you can fire everybody else out the coaching staffs, and then you can fire David Cutler and Tim Kelly and Romeo Crennel and everybody except Lovie Smith and let him remain as the DC of the team because he's not going to get any opportunity as a head coach nowhere else. But he just don't have enough to work with on this team. And they don't even much have the Texans don't even much have elite pass rushers. And then the only person who I want to see is the head coach here, baby a Joe Brady. I'll be fine with it. He's young. Maybe I like the Airbnb, a Patrick Graham, and a Brian Dalbo. He is good at coach. Look, maybe he needs to stay in Buffalo. where he had look what he's doing over there with Josh Allen over there in Buffalo. Then either these coaches, I'm not interested in seeing Dan Quinn get a job in the NFL. I don't want him here. I don't want to see no Josh McDaniels here. Let him stay in New England or get a head coach in Chicago or Jacksonville. Because next year we are going to be a bad football team with David Culley. Maybe they fire him and bring in the right head coach. And but let me get back to my SmackDown notes. So we the much have Holly with a running knee to the ribs, followed by a backbreaker with the knee hitting the ribs of Cesaro, and Hollis dove his knee into the ribs of Cesaro with a submission move over the mat. Hollins with a headbutt to the ribs. Hollins applies a Amberdam stretch along with purchase to the rear Cesaro with an uppercut followed by a belly to belly suplex. Cesaro sending Hollins over the top to the floor along with a running uppercut with on the floor. Cesaro sending Hollins back in with a start at Sheamus will disrupt Cesaro, and Hollins hits Cesaro in the reels. Hollins with a power slam like a cradle power slam for the pinfall went after about 3 minutes. It said this with for a Hollins after working on Cesaro rear to start the match after a brief floor of the offense, FLUR, while floor of the offense from Cesaro and Sheamus. This rep leading to Hollis getting the win. I don't like Cesaro losing a match that was so short, but it was because of the uh, chopping attack to the ribs before the bell rang. The story isn't over there, but at some point, Cesaro will need a babyface allies to fight these guys. So Drew was showed walking back stage where his sword were worn a top that as well. Drew said he want to hear a HILARIOUS Harris joke from Corbin and Mustafa, but they were not around. Look, I don't care nothing about the segment. I really don't. And really don't because Shayna Baszler versus Naomi. Baszler applies to a knee bar submission on Naomi, who managed to fight it off, and Naomi got to a standing position where she stood up so that she was pinning Baszler that was it for the pinfall win for Naomi after about 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Match of the, you know what though? Either much with Shayna Baszler with Naomi, I like the way when she cut a promo, and then Naomi, Shayna, Sonya Deville been screwing you week after week and putting you in this segments with Shayna Baszler, and then put you in a tag team match with Aaliyah, and the referee screwed you. Look, with Sonya Deville though, she need to beat the hell out of Sonya Deville. Naomi need to beat the hell out of Sonya Deville, and then Naomi need to tell her that look, if you if Natalya and Shayna Baszler get involved in that matchup coming up at day one against me and you are gonna have to remove yourself from the role from the GM if those two get involved in that matchup. I mean, and dude, that a way that Naomi can stick it to Sonya Deville because she just over a bruise in her power. And then you have the old bastard Vince McMahon. He really just don't either much see no value into Naomi what she brings to this show. Because he really just don't understand. He cares about money going to Peacock and the Universal Network. He cares about money going into his safe and making sure he is safe. He really don't either much care about, don't like tag team wrestling. And that's why he had one of the worst producer, one of the worst curators on WWE television where I ever seen. And you see what him and Bruce Peach and Jerome Laurinaitis at the hymns. So what happened at Mad Cop Moose where somewhere backstage with move good more Megan Warren shows up for an interview. Corbin and Moose was trying to handle an interview. Corbin and Moose was trying to hide in the dark, so they're turning the lights on the Corbin Moose complaining. Corbin said that they are happy at all the time. Corbin talked about how he was going to be happy all the way to next year because Madcap and Moose, Madcap and Moose is going to face you at the day one pay per view. On the New Day, Moose did seem happy about that. I don't care about that match because Drew McIntyre needs something better to do. This feud really don't means nothing. And the show returns with Cole clarifying that is non-title match, but they will have a title match at day one as previewed. Announcing Cole says something about it being a title match before their break, so he had to correct it. And the Usos made their entry as the show tag team champ. They said that Roman Reigns had yet to arrive, even though there are only about 30 minutes left in the show. The Usos and Jimmy and Uso, the New Day, King Xavier Woods, and Kofi. This was not for the SmackDown tag team titles held by the Usos. Kingston was an SOS takedown from the 2 count on Jay and Jimmy made the behind the tag, landing a kick to the head, and Jimmy pounded on Kobe in the heel corner. Jay back in with a kick to the ribs. Jimmy back in the chin lock. Kobe tried to break free, but the Usos prevailed it by the referee for seeing the tag, so the referee made Woods stay on the apron where Kobe took a uppercut punch on the floor that led to a break. The match returned with the hot tag spot as Woods was the legal man against Jimmy with the jumping kick to the head. Woods hit the honor roll clothesline on Jay, and Woods hit the side Russian leg sweep on Jimmy. Woods with a running clothesline to send Jimmy out of the ring, followed by a running drop kick on the floor. Back in the ring, Woods jumping off the top with a leg drop for the two. Woods doesn't always do that, but he got a lot of height and it looked at great. Jimmy with a step up scissors. Then Jay got a hold of Woods and sent Woods into the barricade. Kofi had made the tag for his team. He exchanged holds with Jimmy, and then Jimmy hit a great super kick on Kofi to the referee never saw the tag, so Woods saw Jay off the top rope to the floor. Jimmy complained to the referee about how they are made the tag, so Kofi capitalized with a trouble in paradise kick on Jimmy for the pinfall when it was about 9 minutes. So the usually good match between those teams is the usually story the WWE always does, where champions lose a non-title match, so the challenger can build momentum before the title match. I really rather not see the Usos lose before the title, but this is how WWE love to book those things. I don't like the stir of the match when the referee misses a New Day tag early, then he misses a Uso tag, and Kofi capitalized on that was trouble in paradise, kicked it to the win. It was booked it well. So there was a shot of the parking lot with a black car pulled up to the building. Paul Heyman was still there with the Universal title in his hands. Heyman opened the door, but Reigns went out of the other door. Reigns told Heyman they shoulders got out to his ring. I mean, yeah. I mean, that is the second time the night we seen a black car pulled up in the building. And I mean, dang, we done seen. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we done seen is like a bunch. Yeah, because I mean, twice we done seen this in the car. So this Monday on Raw, Bobby Ash, the man respect of Edge, hosting the Cut Edge with Maurice as the guest. Edge faced Maurice's husband, The Miz, at day one, and Maurice slapped the Miz last week on Raw because Miz did behind their way. Maurice is the guest, and I know it's going to be a shit at 7 on Monday Night Raw. Next week on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair defend the SmackDown Women's Champ against Toni Storm as a 12-man completion in the 12-day of Christmas Gauntlet match. When the winner get an opportunity Intercontinental Champion title match as our mantra next week. SmackDown was tapping this week. And I am betting surprised that they are doing Flair versus Storm next week on SmackDown instead of saving it for the day one pay-per-view. They could also have a finish that will lead to other matches they want or maybe some other plan. So the Universal Champion Roman Reigns made entrance wearing his brand new needed move shirt. Reigns had his special counsel Paul Heyman by his side where defend his Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar at WWE Day 1 on January the 1st. Big reset for Reigns made his way into the ring with Roman handed up on figuring because he is the one speaking out the ones the Usos approach in the ring behind range as well. Rain Chicago act normally meet in leading to cheer and boo, but what really matter who is that was that it was a loud reception from the crowd. Reigns said that he made it clear that he doesn't like it when his cousin, the Usos, losing. Reigns said that Jay knows that because they family and they can't get through anything. Reigns pointed to Heyman, saying that he is not his blood. Reigns said that you should know better than anybody that you can't be disrespecting Reigns because you disrespect the family. Reigns to Heyman, can't I trust you? Wise man, Reigns said that last week. Heyman was shadowed to him. Reigns asking Heyman if Brock Lesnar was going to return to SummerSlam or that Brock was going to be Madison Square Garden. Reigns asked Heyman, did Paul know that Brock's suspenders was going to be lifted? Some fan chanted, "You fucked up" at Heyman, and Reigns said, "You damn right, he screwed up." Reigns asked, "Are you a special guest or you a African?" Heyman tried to use Reigns' microphone, but then Heyman had to get a microphone from ringside. Reigns told Heyman before he say anything wanted Paul to acknowledge him with the truth. Reigns asked, why is Heyman protecting Brock Lesnar from Reigns? Heyman said, I am not protecting Brock Lesnar from you. I am protecting you from Brock Lesnar. The fans let out a big old recession from that Reigns hanging Heyman said, I love you, wise man. You for your honest reign, thanking Heyman for 40 years of service to his family and told Paul that he's fired. Reign hit Heyman with a Superman punch to knock him on his ass. And Reigns wanted to do more damage with two steel chairs, but then Brock Lesnar music hit Lesnar slowly up and over rails with shirt underneath. The Usos ran at Lesnar, but Lesnar destroyed them with a clothesline and suplex. Lesnar hit a F5 on Jay on the floor. Jimmy in with a super kick to Lesnar, but Brock was able to bounce back with an F5 on Jimmy as well. Lesnar got into the ring in the bottom row with Reigns hitting Lesnar in the back with the chair repeatedly. Lesnar managed to get up from that, and Lesnar hit an F5 on Reigns that fans we going crazy for this. They love it when Lesnar picks up range again, and Lesnar hit up the F5 on range. Lesnar, the music played as he stood tall in the ring. That was the end of the show. I think through something to put talking segment in the main event spot, but it made sense this week that was really well done with the Chicago crowd reception to all of it in a big way. Heyman lied to Roman about how he was protecting Reigns from Lesnar ills. What pissed off Reigns a lot of range firing Heyman for if the firing of Heyman is a big deal, but it could lead to an angle day one where Heyman helped Range beat Lesnar, so they Heyman and then rehired by Reigns for showing the loyalty to the tribal chief. Anyway, I think it was really done well. Also, in Lesnar kicked it kicking ass by destroying both Usos even in the fighting back against Range even up after multiple chair shots to the back. The fans love Babyface Lesnar. I think Brock is having a lot of fun that role, and I well think Reigns versus feels like a big match against at day 1 in 2 weeks. So I am looking forward to it. I am probably picking Reigns, thinking to Heyman helping in some way. I can already feel it popping. Probably projecting based on Twitter. I received after a comment on the angle on Twitter. Maybe WWE has something else in mind for you. And that's the review of my SmackDown. So and let me read this. Kevin Owens is resigning with WWE. I already talked about that. Brock Lesnar destroy Roman Reigns and the Usos. And I already said that Brock Lesnar destroy Roman Reigns, and then you either much have look, Brock Lesnar is gonna power cross Roman Reigns. I mean, Brock Lesnar his Universal Championship, because you know the Usos gonna be getting involved, and you know it's gonna be a fuckery for Brock Lesnar. And Sasha Banks teaming up with Sasuke Black. I enjoyed the match. And Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. Naomi wins with Shayna. Look, WWE, the way how they booking Shayna Baszler, man, that really don't make any sense whatsoever. It just really don't. So let's talk about AEW Rampage. Cause the match, what I either much had either much seen. I mean, last week, because it was a 60-minute match between Adam Heyman Page and Brian Danielson. They just put up a hell of a 5-star match. And then this match was a non-title match. Then you have like Brian, Adam Page, and Daniel Bryan. Them two is going to be locking up one more time for the AEW World Champion. Then you have Adam Page beat him and had him move to fresh opponents to challenge for that WWE AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And then you could have MJF probably gonna be the one that take it off for him. And then maybe you have Brian Danielson. He moved on. He moved on to other big things, and have MJF beats um, Daniel Daniel Bryan beats MJF for that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Because you either much have and you eat like I did say, you either much have people either much like and you either much say you either much have that the Hart Cup tournament, and then you know it's gonna be I think it's gonna be man's 30-man match, and the winner of that, the final, whoever come out on top, who wins the Owen Cup. So, and then is AEW Rampage from Curtis Caldwell and Center in Dallas. Garland, Texas. It was tapping on Wednesday night after Dynamite took place. And so this started off with a 8-man tag team match with a super kill joined by Bobby Fish along with a Stooge Brandon cut at ringside. The fans popped it for the usually Adam Cole paused and cheated before the match. Their opportunity were in the best friend group Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Bree Enton back in action and Rocky Ramone with Yuck joining team. So we had the Young Bucks and Matt, Nick Jackson, and Adam Cole and Bob Fish and Brandon Cut versus Trendon Brandrick, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Rocky Ramone. So Taylor knocking Matt down with a back elbow truck with a standing solid bread neck breaker on Matt. When Matt tried to a super kick, Chuck held the ropes. Roman tags in a fish, kicking Roman in the ribs. Roman with a running drop kick on Fish. Roman hit a multiple clothesline. Cassidy tags indeed a lazy cover for a 1 count. Cassidy face off with a Cole when he has been a rivalry of Cassidy of late, but the Nick tag in Nick with a kick to Cassidy, then a arm drag off the ropes of a Cassidy did a really slow rope walking the did some bullet shit sports where they didn't touch each other for a bit. Then Cassidy hit a arm drag in a market for the fans liked it. So I guess with a moderate, I think did moves where you did touch people are pretty stupid, but whatever the heels attack the fans random to clear them from the ring. The Young Bucks give Mentality a power bomb into the apron. The Young Bucks and Cole did a triple super kick in Cassie over that not really lead in the middle of the match, but AEW refused, don't care about rules anyway. They went to a 90 seconds picture in picture break. So the heels remain in control of Castle with Nick and Matt and Nick hitting a clothesline, a serious kick. Combined, Nick and Matt did a top rope slam. Masafa combined Cole held Cass in a submission. Then he went Young Bucks for the kiss on the cheeks, but the Young Bucks were pulled out of the ring. Cassidy kissed Cole on the cheek, and then Cole and come back in a with elbow Cassidy break free for a tag, but the heels pulled the face off the apron. Cole with a running knee for a 2 count. Cassidy with the back and body drop on Cassidy train, tagged in with a double clothesline along with a sometime splash on Cole on the floor. Trending with a spear on Fish on the floor. Trending with a back body drop on Cutler on the floor. Trending jumping off the top with a splash onto Nick back for a 2 count. Nick with a kick to Trending head. Roman with a lightly with a double D on Nick. Roman countered the cheating with a springboard drop kick where Trending hit a running knee for a 2. Matt was sent into the steel step. Taylor hanging Trending, then the double team kick into a slamming. Taylor hit a smooth saw dive onto some guys on the floor. Nick tapping a Trending against the turnbuckle. Young Bucks and Cole made quickly tag, landed into a three-way attack on Trenton with a double super kick and a brain bust into the knee. Fish tagging in with a headbutt of the top for a to the Young Bucks, and Cole clear the ring, land into Fish, hit a avalanche, Farrakhan, a roll of the top of Trent for a two because Cassidy made the save Cole with a pump kick on Cassidy. Roman with a closed heel kick on Cassidy, and Roman hit a suicide dive on Cole. Matt with a drop kick on two guys, and then Nick hit a twister splash on Rocky Chuck on the floor. Cassidy hit a orange punch on Matt and kicked him out of the ring. Owen hit a smooth sauce splash bomb and dive on Owen to a branch of guys on the floor. That was impressive. Trending challenge fish in the truck created by to belly power drive act. Strong zero for the pin wins after 17 minutes. It was a good match. So it just went to add that in a Adam Cole AEW career, he is undefeated in single matches 5-0, and he is 4-4 in a tag team match. All through Cole has yet to be pinned or submitted in AEW. The best friends did a group hanging to give the people what they wanted. And so we the much get a with Adam Cole. I like the way how he has been booked strong in these storyline with him with the Young Bucks. I mean, he's 4-4 in the tag team. He is very good at single matches, but he is getting AEW is treating him fairly, booked it like I want them to do. Dan Lambert was back on AEW TV with a promo well, standing with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Lambert calling the fans a Dutch bags. Lambert wondering where everybody suck up to Tony Khan, then ripping on him, and fans chanted asshole at Lambert. Dan calling Tony to face. Seeing Tony said that booking decision would be based on me. Um, me not friendship, Lambert, modeling how Tony pushes the Wydom on the skateboard. Darby Allin that had hands in his pocket, guys in Orange Cassidy, and even a little Sammy Guevara. Lambert moderated how Tony even bought a Brian Danielson and CM Punk as well. Lambert said that Tony was gifted title shots to undeserved EVP S and friends like Cody Rhodes. Lambert said that Tony is turning the company into late 1990 WCW, becoming the very thing that he hates about this business. And Lambert ripping on Cody Rhodes for using backstage relationship and turning them into title matches, where ripping on Cody really shows saying it's absolutely sucking. Lambert, does anybody watching that thing? I don't know anybody that does. Cody made his entrance to a better mixing reception, so Cody go into the ring with Lambert, Scott, and Ethan. Um, Cole Cody off the microphone. Lambert took it back, and then they keep talking it from each other. Cody went after Ethan and Scott, but they healed overwhelmed him, and Dusty Rose ran out to save Brother Cody. He got some momentum, but Sky and Ethan took care of him. Sammy Guevara, the TNT champion, went out to the ring to save the face with a jumping kick on Ethan and springboard cutter on Sky. They heels retreated. And Sammy started Cody after they say as if say, you welcome well, Cody tried to get back to his feet. I enjoyed Lambert promo. I know some people I don't, but I think it's fun. Sammy saved the Cody Rhodes, who he faced it on Rampage next week. It made sense for Dusty to save his brother since they could lead to a tag team match since, but Sammy making the save was more interesting. This was a video about the TBS title tournament semifinals: Thunder Road versus Jay Kroger and Rudy Soho versus Nyla Rose. That tournament has took a long time. Look, number one, I don't see Jay Kroger. She is, I think, 16 and 17, and she has been undefeated for a couple of months. I don't see Jay Kroger winning that AEW TBS title. I think Ruby Soho is gonna be the one to win it, and I'll be betting my money on that if she either much wins the TBS title. And how much you want to bet if she wins? And we see a submission match: T. Kroger and Anna Jay versus Pellin for the Bunny. Kroger ran into the ring to go after Ford with a punch Kroger with a running kick, but then Ford avoided a kick. Kroger hooking the right leg of Ford, and a Bunny helped Ford get out of the ring. Kroger kicked from out the apron to the floor. Ford with two chop, then a third attempt. Kroger moved and Ford hit the ring post back in the ring. Kroger with the for a inning arm bar, but Ford got his foot on the bottom rope. Ford with the for a back head spun into the turnbuckle, but Kroger got her feet up to block Ford with for a submission, pulling on the floor and had the Kroger power out of the it. Colton, while for a submission on the head on Kroger went after her, and Bunny went to the floor. Kroger applies to a choke on the floor by the turn floor, come back with a submission jump on the back with a holding onto the head on, but Kroger got out of it. Colton misses a move off the ropes, then Ford hit a cutler because even AEW match need a cutter or stunner, and Ford went for a submission, so Carter got to the ropes to break it. Carter with a forearm, then a pump kick forward with a back heel kick, and Carter charged forward. Carter hooking forward with here lock leg around the waist, where also applies a choke. Ford tapped it out. It was about 6 minutes. a submission match as less drawn than a regular match since they less excitement about a um promoting tap out when you only get 6 minutes in thought to really get into it. There was some cool moves by both women, but they didn't sell the submission attempt that will work over any arm off leg to tell a story. Instead, it was just move after move. It just didn't seem that instant anyway. The babyface quartet when won the match clean. The results is fine. Ford doesn't win that much on TV anyway. So post match, the Bunny went into the ring, punch Cody with the basic clutch on Bunny had at last. That was Excalibur seen NJ went into the ring, so the heels and Bonnie and Ford rethread. This feud continued approach even through there were just submission matches won by Bayface. Then is under resolving. She my favorite out of that foursome. It was announced that the Owen Hart Foundation Men's and Women Tournament will take place in May in Club Minute at Double or Nothing. They will have more info on Dynamite. And Mankind Black versus Garth Garrison Christmas party with um, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Tony Savannah. I hope Adam Cole is invited. Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho if that TBS title tournament semifinals. MJF versus LTR versus CM Punk and Dave Allen and Stain. That probably the main event. I protect Punk pins well or Haywood. So go with Waller. The next Rampage is on Christmas Day, which is next Saturday. I mean, man, bro, that's the end of my AEW Rampage. We talked about that. So, I mean, we just went all over the place. So, we've been on here for 1 hour and 27 seconds. So, I'm off.